Okay, Jeremiah chapter 9.
We'll be quiet.
Now we've got Jeremiah. He in this part of chapter 9, he is he's lamenting, or he bewails. I mean, he's crying loudly. He's bewailing. That's the little blurb at the top of the chapter, describes the prophet bewails the manifold sins of his people. Okay? So he's getting, if you will, burnt out. I mean, he's been preaching. God told him to go out and preach every day. Get up early in the morning and preach every day, and tell the people. And it wasn't just a couple of hour thing, in the morning. This would have been all day, sitting at the gate and preaching and giving God's true word, not the false word from the prophets, from false prophets, but God's true word. And now he's if you will, complaining. He's not complaining to God, but he is a little on the burnt out side. Verse 1, oh, that my head were waters, or a reservoir of waters, just an unending supply of tears, and mine eyes a fountain of tears. So an unending supply of tears, and crying and weeping, that I might weep day and night for the slain of the daughter of my people. And again, this was in 600 BC, so it was a little before 605 BC was when Nebuchadnezzar came down the first time. He was headed to Egypt. In 605 BC, there was this famous Battle of Carchemish. But in 600 BC, okay, well, that would have been, 600 would have been later than 605. Got to get the right direction here. In BC, you're going down in date. So this would have been 5 years, I'll get it straight, 5 years after the first trip of Nebuchadnezzar to Egypt and this famous Battle of Carchemish. Okay, get that straight. I'll have everybody confused here. So, many people were slain then and taken captive then. More people are going to be taken captive later. I think we worked it out as like 14 years later from 605, 14 years later, that he comes the second time. Okay. So, for the slain of the daughter of my people, okay, and verse 2, oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men. Now, apparently in those days, now, in the trading routes, they would take, camel trains with goods, trading goods across the desert, and in those days, and of course the camel trains would have to stop during the day, but they also had out there in the wilderness probably about a day's journey apart. They would have camps set up, and some of them would have been from charitable, if you will, organizations, something, private charity, or a public expense. Government would set up these lodging places in the wilderness, and usually built in the desert, and they were caravanserais. caravanserais, to receive travelers for a single night. Okay? You know, how far can you walk during a day? I think it's, what is it, 6 miles that you can walk during a day, normal day, something like that. Depends on the terrain and the climate and all that. But it, you know, they would be there for travelers for a single night. You know, they had to bring their own supplies, but at least they had a camp set up, you know, possibly right next to a water source and some shade. But that's what he's talking about. Oh, that I had in the wilderness a lodging place of wayfaring men, okay? That I might leave my people and go from them. Some place where he could go, okay, to get a break from preaching, you know, if you will. That would be the picture. To get a break from preaching. To get a break from having to deal with these rotten, sinful people, and you know that I might and go from them, for they be all adulterers, an assembly of treacherous men. Okay, and he's describing who these you know who they're not listening to him. You know, God told Jeremiah they're not going to listen to you, but you know they're all rebellious and idolaters and you know murderers, the whole bit. Okay, but he would like a place to go to get away from them, and you know that's a lot of us. You know have places we go. See, oh, okay. I can go to my submarine veterans meetings to get away from all you guys.
Gee, thanks.
Yeah, you know, gotta throw a little bit of humor in there. Anyway, but or you know, come here on Sunday to get away from those kindergarten through second grade Awana kids. Yeah. But they aren't, you know, you guys aren't all, you know, an assembly of treacherous men that I need to get away from. Just a little out of control. Anyway.
They say you get like those you associate with.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, a place for wayfaring men. And they bend their tongues. Okay, this is who he's talking about. And, you know, these treacherous men, adulterers, they bend their tongues like their bow for lies. Okay? They you know, when you, an archer in the army, you know, to get ready for war, the archers, you know, they have to prepare their bows if they're you know bow and arrow men. They have to, you know, you have to bend your bow, hook the sling on because you don't leave it hooked up all the time. You know, and you learn this in archery if you ever do that. But they have to bend their bows to get them slung up and get the string slung so that they can shoot and for battle. Okay, that's what he's saying here. That's the picture. Bend their tongues like their bow for lies. They get it all ready to go. Okay, they're all prepared for falsehood. They're all prepared to lie. Okay, they don't have to do anything special because they're all set. The guys in the army, they're all set to go. You know, they've got their rifles all primed, their bows all primed, the horses are all ready to go. Okay, the chariots are all prepared, but they are not valiant. Oh, yeah, they may be brave men on the battlefield. You know, if they're soldiers, brave men on the valiant on the battlefield, but they're not valiant for the truth upon the earth. They're not fighting for the truth. Okay? They're fighting for, if you will, they're prepared for lies. Okay? For they proceed from evil to evil, and they know not me, saith the Lord. Okay? Jeremiah is just repeating what God told him to say, and they don't know him. They don't care anymore. You know, they're so far gone in their idolatry that they don't care, and it doesn't bother them to lie, to cheat, to steal. Okay? So, now he's warning the people, verse 4, take ye heed every one of his neighbor. Okay? Oh, be suspicious of your neighbor. And isn't that what all of the dictators today and the governments today, they get you suspicious of your neighbor. Rat out your neighbor, okay, and we will reward you if you rat out your neighbor, if you tell lies on your neighbor, and that's what the Stasi in East Germany, in Cold War East Germany, that's what they did. You know, you tell a lie on your neighbor or your family member. Okay, you know they had families in East Germany doing that with their families, their neighbors. Okay, their own kids. Okay, heed everyone. Take ye heed every one of his neighbor. Trust ye not in any brother. Don't trust your neighbor. Don't trust your brother. You know, you rat them out, they'll rat you out. Everybody gets, lied about. And don't trust them. Don't trust anybody. And isn't that you can't trust, on the internet. You can't trust anybody on the internet. You can't trust what anybody's saying, posts there. You can't, and there's others you can't, they have us so conditioned you can't even trust the biased media. And even if the media isn't biased, you still can't trust them. That's the whole thing. I mean, you think the Bible is not written for today? Oh, well, check out that verse. Okay? For every brother will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. Every brother. And this guess who this refers back to? A brother supplanting another brother. Jacob supplanting Esau. Okay? Cheated him out of his birthright. And that's the picture. And every neighbor will walk with slanders. They'll tell lies on you, okay, in the heartbeat. And they will deceive everyone his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies. You actually do have to, teach, if you will, your tongue to speak either the truth or lies. And a lot of saved people. There are a lot of saved people who they've trusted Jesus as their Savior, okay? But in their testimonies they will tell you, I was a liar. I cussed. I swore. I lied. I committed crimes. Okay. they have taught their tongue to speak lies and weary themselves to commit iniquity. They get so tired of, I mean, you grow weary after a while, but it still didn't bother them. They're speaking lies, weary, getting tired, committing iniquity. And, I think, okay, I'm going to stop there. End of verse 5. Stop there for